Good day, everyone. Ali Safi here, April 4, 2025. Another weekly wrap, weekly edition. All right, so we just had a very, very ugly week. So if you just to see the candle, you don't need even my explanation. This is brutal. This is ugly. Market is just going down like a hard knife through the butter. It's just slicing through all the way down to 5,062, 63, just a close today. And this is kind of like the worst case scenario for the market as I expecting. So let me just before weekly analysis, let me show you the daily analysis. If you remember, so these two circles actually were there for a long time, and still we would be in uptrend, not a bear market. Even if it goes to the downside, like more than 20%, I know that a lot of people are saying 20% less is going to be bear market. What are you talking about? I'm not sticking to that 20% because that 20% rule, if you just focusing on that one, it doesn't work, basically. The bear market is not 20%. Even this COVID crash was 35%, but it just lasts for 6 weeks. And then after that, we just jump back up to new rally, to new all-time high. So that 20% rule, forget about it. I'm talking about the trend line, the major trend line for the market. So these two circles actually were there, which is 48 to 5,000. And I thought that market is going to go down potentially like this, going down. But in 2 days, we take out August low, which we are going to just going through in weekly as well. And we are getting to this level. So this means we can go down another 200, 250 to the downside, which potentially form a solid oversold bottom for the market. And that would be very, very decisive moment for the market. All right. So let's go back to weekly chart. So the weekly chart, this is ugly for us. So we take out this pivotal point. We are getting to April 2024, which is going all back 1 year. Like since 1 year, if you bought the stock here and you keep it, and right now the price actually is going down, like just SPY, which is a S&P 500, price is going down, so you don't do anything. Basically, you haven't done anything in 1 year. So this is kind of like the scenario that people are experiencing right now. People are feeling pain. So today was really painful. I should say this week was very painful. Today was like extra painful for lots of people. And the market is just going down to 5%. Right now, we are at 18% correction since this high in February. And who would have thought, like in February 15, we get into new all-time high. Everyone is just looking for, as myself as well, I was looking for kind of like a spike to here, 64, and then getting back to the downside. I didn't expect actually market is getting back to the downside substantial like this in February. I thought that market is gonna just hit the top in April. And April, May, June, July, we're gonna see a very bad market. So I was kind of like making myself ready for that downside beginning April, not beginning April bottom or something like that. So, but anyway, so market is like that. Market doesn't care what I'm saying, what you think, what the other people think. Market is just do its things, and it doesn't care basically what the other people are doing. But right now, it's just going all the way down to 4,800, I would say to 5,000. That's very, very important level. If we want to just put a Fibonacci retracement from this low to this top here, so 50% is coming along exactly to top of this market in 2021 when it goes to kind of like a bear market, I should say 9 months bear market in 2022, and then finish to get back to the upside. So 50% is coming along exactly 48.15. So this doesn't mean that we're going to go all the way down here, but we are saying market is very close to very, very interesting level for a bounce, at least for a bounce, if it's not the bottom. If we just look at the indicators, the indicators are fantastic. Like right now, RSI is forming oversold condition. Even in 2022, April, we didn't experience oversold condition. The last time we got into oversold condition and closed weekly in oversold condition was COVID crash. So you can see that the severity of this downside is kind of like similar to COVID crash. Even in 2011, when market just going all the way down, it didn't go that much to where are we here? So even with this leg down, we didn't see kind of like oversold conditions. So as I said, the severity for this downside is RSI base is like a COVID crash when market is just going all the way down to here and RSI is just getting back to the downside. Right now, we kind of like a close below this trend line, which obviously this is not a trend line that we can just make from this RSI. And we are kind of like a due for a bounce. Even if you go to a stochastic momentum index, all of them are getting into oversold. Like two lines are getting into oversold condition. And I have a cycle on April 7. So April 7 through April 10, I've got a cycle, but I'm not sure if this cycle is gonna form the bottom or kind of like just a pause for the market. And April 7 is gonna be exactly on Monday. So this is where I would say Mercury and Venus is gonna get straight again and that's going to just bring clarity for tariffs for lots of communications, and potentially it's going to happen for the market as well. So it's going to just make market clear path down the road if we see some clarity on the tariffs and negotiations and those stuff. It's going to impact the market moving forward for the next move to potentially bounce. I would say it's going to be a solid bounce at least to 54 5,500. I'm not saying market can go all the way back to the upside. There's lots of damage has been done to the chart. Lots of damage has been done. So we need some kind of like a bailout or bazooka or some kind of like a money that we need to see market is getting back to the upside. Today volume for SPY was 200, I would say 214 million for SPY, which is kind of like a 4 times than average. The average is 50 million. So even it gets doubled than yesterday. So I would say when this volume is getting a spike like this, we are very close to a pivotal point, because I just want to see a high volume reversal for the market. If that happens, something like over 100 million, I would say we are pretty close to a significant bounce, not just a bottom, significant bounce. So we talk about a bottom later on if we make sure. But based on my indicators, look at that. So this is IMI. IMI is forming a very nice oversold condition, which is kind of like an early signal for the market. Here is another one, which IMI just the signaling for oversold condition. And just the 2 weeks after we got the bottom. Right now we got another oversold condition, which we may see some kind of like for this week or next, we will see some kind of like a very nice major reversal to the upside. Stochastic momentum index is getting back to this is October 2023. And we're kind of like getting to that one. Here's another one, here's another one, and here's another one. So whenever we get into this area, we're going to see a very nice, significant bounce for the market. This is an uptrend. This is an uptrend. We are not in uptrend at all, but we may see some kind of like a significant bounce for the market. So we will see how it goes. As I said before, this is going to be a good buying opportunity. Still, I'm in my call that this is going to be a good opportunity, at least for traders. If you're a trader, this is going to be a fantastic buying opportunity, especially for today's price. We're going to just go through the individual names and we will see how it goes. Moving on to the daily chart. A daily chart is the same. It's just a slaughtering to the downside. This is kind of like a capitulated. This is exactly typical example of the capitulation. So market is just going down and we need another push, potentially another push to the downside below this pivotal point to liquidate all the stop losses. And then when that one hits, market is going to recapture nicely. So this 48.15 is very, very important. Let me just make it bold here. This one, 48.15. So this is coming to 50% Fibonacci through this bottom to this top, and this is kind of like a 50% Fibonacci, and we need to just see another push to the downside, potentially for 100, even 100 points SPY. If it challenges this pivotal point, that's going to be enough. It goes back all the way to April 19, 2024, as I said last year this time. So we will see how it goes for the market, but after that, I'm kind of like looking for a great buying opportunity. Still, I'm kind of like excited just because, to be honest, my portfolio took hit today. It's not the same as market. Still, we are beating myself subscribers beating the market in 2025, but last 2 days was brutal. But we didn't get any liquidation kind of like signal just because my portfolio is just one-to-one stocks. It's not leveraged. We don't play an option in that portfolio investment. And the option portfolio is kind of like a separate. That one is volatile a lot, but this one actually is very safe. We are still, I believe, we are still positive for the year. I have to double check, but as of yesterday, we were positive. I'm not sure for today. But we will see how it goes. Moving on to Nasdaq weekly chart. A Nasdaq weekly chart, still we are above August low here. So this is kind of like still light at the end of the tunnel. But I would say if we go another push to the downside, for Nasdaq, we are getting to a very major kind of like a demand area. Look at this. So this demand area goes all the way back here. So that is interesting because another push to the downside, I would say it's going to be interesting demand area. So let's just put a box here for NASDAQ, and that's going to be 16,400 to 16,785, which is going to be a lot during a normal condition. But I would say it can just happen Monday and then flipping back to the upside. So if we see something like this, I wouldn't, to be honest, be surprised at all if market just going back to the upside after hitting this area. As I said, 16,200 to 16,700. That's the area that I'm looking at. If market goes to the downside, we may see some kind of like a capitulation getting below these pivots. Stop loss is going to hit, but this is a nice weekly demand area for NASDAQ. All right, so we'll see how it goes. Right now, stochastic momentum index, RSI, everything is getting to oversold condition. For a long time, we haven't seen NASDAQ RSI weekly getting to oversold condition. 2022 June, actually market hit oversold condition, and we just got a nice divergence in a weekly and then getting back to the upside. This is kind of like the scenario that I'm looking at. All of them are due for a significant bounce. Potentially next week, we're going to see a significant bounce for the market. I'm not sure about the day, but that's not going to be too much late. So we'll see how it goes. Moving on to the daily chart. I don't know why my daily chart goes that far. But daily chart, remember yesterday we were talking about these two boxes. So still we are above this August. And we are kind of like an extension, Fibonacci extension is getting into these two boxes, which is a fantastic bottom for, but we don't see any kind of like a sign of the reversal. If reversal happens on Monday, I would be happy because I rebalanced myself today. We sold out some stocks in profit, like healthcare, like Johnson and Johnson, like United Health, and rebalancing into some techies, which oversold, which just slaughtered today and yesterday, and we are kind of like a happy with that one. If market goes more down, we're going to just buy more on the techie names. But right now, I would say this is kind of like an ABC scenario, very kind of like a sharp ABC scenario to the market. We shouldn't take out this low because if we take out this low, that would be very bad for market. Lots of damage has been done already. Nasdaq, I would say Nasdaq is in 20% territory right now. Let's just take a measure here. So we are, yes, we are 22% to the downside, even more since February top, 22.40. So we are already into, based on the Wikipedia, kind of like a definition, we are in a bear market. But we are, you know what I'm saying, like a bear market doesn't mean that 20% or something. We need to see series of lower low and lower highs, which just happened in a couple of weeks. It doesn't mean that we are getting into a bear market. Moving on to the Dow. Dow, obviously, we are just the slaughter to the downside. Let me go to weekly chart. Weekly chart, this is the box that I was referring to. And right now, we just going even lower. and getting to this area. So if I want to just to say Dow has like a better chart-wise, better kind of like a formation, still we are keeping this uptrend. I know that we are just getting below this, but it doesn't matter. We can get back to the upside next week, and still we are in a higher uptrend. So if you see that the other indexes, S&P 500 and Nasdaq, we didn't hold the uptrend. We are just going all the way down. Some of them actually take out this August low, like Dow Jones actually just touching this August low. But August low is not important for Dow Jones. You see that this is April low is very, very important, because if it goes below this, we're going to see like another drop potentially to 2022 top. Right now, we are just get there, and potentially we will see some kind of like a rebound from this area. If we see momentum index, RSI, everything like MACD, look at that, how oversold it is. Like compare to COVID crash, this is the second time that we can see oversold condition in MACD like this. RSI is getting to oversold. It's very, very hard for Dow to get into oversold condition in a weekly chart. But in COVID, it happens. Right now, we are just a touch above oversold line, which is going to be 30%. Right now, we are at 31%. The stochastic momentum getting into oversold, and it's getting ready for another push for a reversal to the upside. Hopefully, that happens next week. Moving on to daily chart. A daily chart is the same. It's just going down, but look at the divergence here. So between these two RSI here, and also this is kind of like a double bottom, but MACD is forming a very nice compared to this. So this is a very beautiful divergence, but we don't see any kind of like a reversal. So divergence by itself doesn't mean anything. We need to see a reversal. This is a high volume reversal. This is high volume white range bar, sorry, to the downside. And it needs to just to get back to the upside, at least just a pause, a day pause or something, to see how market is going to go back to the upside. But I would say this, even if we get back to the upside, that rally is going to be good tradable rally, but it's not going to be done, because we may see some kind of like a pullback again to this bottom. So we'll see how it goes. Moving on to gold, which kind of like going to the downside, and right now it's just getting to 3,030. This is very, very important level for gold, and if it breaks through to the downside, I would say 29.35 is coming, but I'm not sure if gold is getting below this. Still looking for more bailout, more money printing, and then gold is getting back to the upside. Dollar was strong today, but bond yield actually just getting down. So gold still is okay. But the worst one is silver. Look at that, 7% hammered silver today, just getting into this area. So silver, obviously, we are in a consolidation period. If you go to the bigger picture here, weekly chart, so you see that silver didn't get to my kind of like a forecast for 35 for a pullback. It's just a go here. I cannot manage higher high, just getting back to the downside. But SMA 60 on a weekly is just touching today as well. So this is very, very important for silver. But right now, this is a strong move to the downside. I don't recall actually that much downside just in 2020 when this happens after this rally. Even this is not the scale like today. So in 2020, we got this, and then getting back to the upside when we got this substantial rally, parabolic substantial rally to the upside. Right now, we don't get any parabolic rally. People just selling their stuff just because they can't handle it. Lots of margin calls, liquidation happening, and that's why people are selling their positions. So let's see if silver is going to keep this area 26 to 27. Right now, we are at 29. And this is kind of like very strong weekly level for silver. Moving on to crude, which was kind of like a disappointing. Crude just a slaughter today, going down to 62 and just touching 60 as well. Right now, crude actually is in danger of breaking through to 51 to 53. We will see if crude is getting below 60, immediately it can go down to 51 to 53. There is nothing below this, just this consolidation. So we'll see how it goes. And basically, Republicans like it. like cheap energy just because they want to sell it to their people that we bring the energy price down. But at the same time, crude means economy is gonna slowing down, growth is gonna slowing down. No one is gonna use energy anymore. So that's going to be harmful for lots of energy stocks, which was harmful today. Bitcoin, individual names, just going sideways today. This is very interesting. Bitcoin actually didn't react. If you just see this tariff war charts, and when I show you this, without knowing the tariff wars happening, you wouldn't believe that because this is very normal, calm chart for Bitcoin and it's just consolidating for the next rally. Even it doesn't challenge this low. So this tells me something that potentially Bitcoin is going to be a leader, at least for a short term, to get back above this trend line. If it's so, that's going to be very, very strong one. Ethereum is the same. Seems like crypto actually doesn't care about this tariff war. And Ethereum is just going down with the doji bar. And still it is there with the 1600, 1800. This is very interesting, but Ethereum has more work to do. It needs to go above 25 to 29 to get back to its momentum. But right now it's there. Bond yield just crashing to the downside. Just Jay Powell can save it a little bit when he says we are not gonna just cut the rate. We don't know about the future. We are data dependent or something like that. Before that, bond yield just crashing to the downside for 3.46. I believe sooner or later they're gonna cut the rate and bond yield area is gonna be less than 3%. So we will see bond. Just that TLT, just that spike up to 93, but sold off the entire session. Managed positive, but still people are certain about the future of the economy. So that's why this bull flag forms nicely. But sellers actually in bond market are very strong. So they don't buy it basically. This means recession is not there because bond market is very, very smart. And if it goes all the way up to here, this means recession is coming. I think this is not going to be a recessionary drop. This is just a panic. That's it. VIX is spike up, close of 45. This is kind of like very, very strong one. And whenever I see this, I would say a more kind of like a downside move is coming. And VIX a close weekly above 45 is amazing. It's something that even not happened during like August. And the VIX is a spike index. If it goes higher, it can go down. Right now, it's just high here. But I think next week, we're going to see a big shadow like this in VIX. So when exactly it's going to stop its move, I don't know. But this is kind of like telling us we are pretty close to the market bottom. DXY is just reversing back to the upside, forming higher low. This means more dollar demand is coming to the market due to margin call and liquidations. So this is very normal during a bear market or something like today happen. High volume actually increase the dollar demand. But ultimately, I'm thinking that dollar is going to get back to the downside. Apple. So this is my area, 191 to 198. Obviously, just breaking through to the downside doesn't hold. And Apple, if it goes downside, there are lots of supports here. So this gap is here at 178. 180, that's the area that we see some kind of like a jump back up and then coming down and then moving a higher high to new all-time high. So there are lots of support here. This is a I would say, months consolidation, year consolidation. So there are lots of support here. So more downside means more buyers are coming back. And this is very, very nice just because we got into Apple last 2 days. Last 2 days, we just got into Apple's again. And we're going to buy more. Amazon, just a gap down, but buyers actually came back nicely. This is September low, still August low is here. And there is my area here. I don't know if Amazon is going to go down, but obviously it doesn't care about this trend line. This trend line is failed. And Amazon is just trying to find a bottom. Meta is just going down the doji bar gap down 500. Look at that. So 738 just a couple weeks ago, I would say. And right now we are at 500 area, 40% almost a drop to the downside. Microsoft is just going down below this weekly, and this is very bad because this weekly was very strong support. Microsoft is down. This chart is sick, and we may see some kind of like a moving more downside for Microsoft down the road. The next area is going to be 324 to 337. We will see how it goes. Google is getting into this demand area 139 to 145. And this is the area that I'm looking at as a kind of like a reversal. See, it is very, very hard to call the reversal when the price action is very, very sharp to the downside. Netflix forming a head and shoulder here. If it goes below 800, I would say Netflix is going to go all the way down to 600 or 500, even this gap. So this is the topping formation at new all-time high or brand new all-time high. So this is very strong pattern. If it forms, it's going to just go very bad. Tesla, 10% down today. Actually, this wave count actually doesn't count anymore, so we're going to delete it. And Tesla is going down. There are lots of buyers actually coming back to this area to push the Tesla higher. Even when Elon is not saying anything, market doesn't care. It's just going down due to China tariffs today. Tesla is going to be impacted. So that's very, very bad for Tesla. SMH, semiconductor index, is going down again because of the tariffs. Lots of semiconductors are going to be exported to China and the other countries. Right now, we see that the SMH is down, SOX is down. Taiwan Semiconductor is heading down, and potentially it's going to challenge this August low. AMD is just down, and still it is in a lower high. After this, a significant nice rally, or kind of like a pivotal point at this double bottom. I thought that AMD is just breaking through, but this tariff war actually changed the dynamics to the downside. This is kind of like the sign of the capitulation, and we will see how it goes. It's very hard to call the bottom for this. NVDA is down. NVIDIA is getting into this important area. This is a significant bottom here, 76 to 87. Very nice area for NVIDIA to buy. Texas Instrument just slotted 151. This is crazy. This is going down. Potentially can go down to this 139. I don't know. So very close to that one. Lam Research is the same. It's just breaking through to the downside and seems like it doesn't want to stop. It's just going all the way down to this October 23, which was kind of like a market bottom. And look what happened after that. Just in less than a year, it's just going all the way down to the original position, October 23. XLF, which is financials, a nice head and shoulder here forming, trigger to the downside, and see when pattern is forming the momentum to the downside, it's just taking the escalator to the downside or elevator to the downside. So this is kind of like sharp sell-off in financials, but there are some good news for the market here. KBE, look at the doji bar at the demand area. So this is not bad at all. I know the negative, when you see the screen, actually, it's very bad, 5%, 6% to the downside. But when you see the candlestick, actually, it's not that bad. I know it is bad, 5% negative, but the formation is hopeful. JP Morgan is just sharp move to the downside, head and shoulder, good move to the downside. Goldman Sachs reverse head and shoulder, QM pattern to the downside. So this is another one. Bank of America the same. It's just a slaughter to the downside, coming to this weekly demand area. Wells Fargo pretty close to this demand area, 58. GDX, which is gold miners, they're just down. Capitulated actually at the top here after yesterday's rally. Yesterday was kind of like a bull trap, I would say. And today is going down. I would say this one can go down all the way to 38, 39. GDXJ, the same pattern, can go down to this area to 47. AEM is the same. Agnico Eagle is just getting back to the downside, can go down to $88. Newmont is just down $44 today. And gold Barrick is just a slaughter today after after gap down and then forming. All sellers actually just put the pressure on the downside, just going down. I would say $16, $17 coming. Look at the energy, like XLE, just the slaughter. This one taking, to be honest, stairs to go up. 2 moves. Oh my God. So this is crazy. This is ugly. And it's just going all the way down here to 78. I thought that energy market is going to just show its way, but seems like they can't. They can't, just because there are lots of problems actually in that industry. Exxon, look at this. In 2 days, this is a huge consolidation. Exxon built up lots of energy to go higher, but in 2 days, it's just going down all the way to 100 to 105 area. Chevron, the same pattern. Look at the candlestick today. It's just a slaughter to the downside, getting back to this pivotal point. So all in all, I should say this is a very, very sharp panic move to the downside. And potentially next, if we're going to see oversold condition, and you will see that some reversals in some stocks, but I'm not sure if this is going to be the bottom. We are going to have a choppy months down the road, especially May, June is going to be choppy months as well. All right, folks. Hope you like this video. If you like this video, please smash the like button, subscribe to our channel, and put your comments down there. What do you think? How much you are in profit? How much you are in loss, if you want to say that? And what do you think about the market? Have a fantastic weekend. See you on the chart. Bye-bye.